The commemoration of the 70th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War now begins. Please all rise. Fired the gun salute.
A 70-gun salute, one for each of the 70 years since the war was won. During the war, answering the call for a nationwide resistance, much of the nation took up arms and rushed to the battlefields, and eventually drove out the Japanese army. But millions of soldiers and civilians did not live to see the victory for themselves on September the 3rd, 1945. Today's gun salutes honor those who gave their lives for peace.
The War of Resistance awoke in the Chinese nation a sense of national identity. The eventual triumph stirred a sense of confidence as a nation and was a testament to the nation's determination in the face of threats, its resolve of self-reliance and strength to stand tall in the world. This spirit is built upon the sacrifice of many and is one that will be handed down through the generations.
The guards bearing the national flag from the Monument of the People's Heroes to the flag post, they will take precisely 121 steps, each representing one of the 121 years from when the first shots of the war between China and Japan was fired in 1894.
Next, the national flag will be raised as the national anthem is sung. The anthem is called the March of the Volunteers. It was written in 1935 as a battle song encouraging the Chinese to fight for their existence, and also a song of victory for the world against fascism.
升国旗，
raise the national flag,
唱国歌
and。sing the national anthem of the People's Republic of China. Please be seated.
请中共中央
I'm
总书
privileged
记
to invite
中华人民共和
Comrade
国
Xi
主
Jinping,
席
General Secretary
中央
of the
军委主
CPC
席
Central Committee,
习近平同志
President of the People's
发表
Republic
重要
of
讲
China,
话
and Chairman of the Central Military Commission to deliver an important address. All my countrymen and women,
尊敬的
Your
各位
Excellencies,
国家元首、
heads of state and government,
政府首脑和联
and
合国等国际组
representatives
织代表，
of the United Nations
尊敬的
and
各位
other
来宾，
international organizations, distinguished
全体
guests,
受业将士们、
all officers and soldiers participating in the parade, ladies and gentlemen,
同志们、
comrades and
朋友
friends.
们，今天是一个值得
Today
世
is a
界人
day
民
that will
永
forever
远纪念的
be
日子。
etched in the memory of people all over the
70年
world.
前的今天，
70 years ago
中国人
today,
民经过长达14
the
年，
Chinese people, having fought tenaciously for 14 years,
取得了
won the
中国人
great
民
victory
抗日战
of
争
their
的
war
伟
of
大胜利，
resistance against Japanese aggression,
宣告了世界反法西
marking
战
the
争
full
的
victory
完全
of the
胜利。
world anti-fascist war.
和平的阳光再
On
次
that day,
普
the
照大
world
地。
was once again blessed by the sunshine
在
of
这里，
peace.
我
On
代
this
表中共
occasion,
中央、全国
On
人
behalf
大
of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress,
中央军
the
委
State Council, the National Committee of the
向
Chinese
全国
People's
参加过
Political
抗日战
Consultative
争的老
Conference,
战士、
and the Central
老
Military
同志、
Commission, I pay
爱
high
国人士
tribute to all the veterans,
和抗日
comrades,
将领，
patriots, and officers in China
向为中国人民
who took
抗
part
日
in
战
the
争
war
胜
of
利
resistance, and all the
做出
Chinese
重大贡献
at
的
home and abroad
海内外
who contributed
中华儿女
significantly to the
致以
victory
崇高的
of
敬
the
意
war.
向支援和帮助过
I
中
extend
国人民抵抗
heartfelt
侵略的
gratitude
外国
to
政府
foreign governments and friends who
和国际友
supported
人
and assisted the Chinese
表
people
示
in
衷心
resisting
的感
aggression.
谢。向参加今天
I
大
also
会的
warmly
各国来宾
welcome all the
和
foreign
亲人
guests
朋友们，
and representatives
表示
of
热
the
烈的
armed
欢
forces
迎
of。foreign countries present today.
女士们、先生们、
Ladies
同
and
志们、
gentlemen,
朋友们，
comrades and friends,
中国人民抗日战争
the Chinese people's
世界
war
反法
of
西战争
resistance against Japanese
是
aggression
正义和
and the
邪
world
恶、
anti-fascist war
光明和
were
黑暗、
decisive battle
进步
between
和
justice
反
and
动的
evil,
大决战。
between light and darkness, and
在
between
那场
progress
惨
and
烈的战
reaction.
争中，
In that devastating war,
中国人
the
民抗
Chinese
日战
people's
争
war of resistance
开始
against
时
Japanese
间最
aggression started
持
the
续时间
earliest
最长。
and lasted the longest.
面对侵略者，
In defiance
中华
of
儿女
aggression,
不屈不挠，
the unyielding Chinese
浴
people
血奋战，
fought gallantly
彻底打败了日本
and
军国
finally
侵
won
略者
total victory against the
捍卫了
Japanese
中华民族
militarist aggressors,
5000多年发
thus
展的
preserving
文
China's
明成果，
5,000-year-old civilization
捍卫了人类和平事业。
and upholding
铸就了
the
战争
cause of
史上的
peace of
奇观。
mankind.
中华
This
民族的
remarkable
壮举，
feat made by the Chinese nation was rare in the history of war.
中国人民抗日战争胜利
The victory of the Chinese
是
People's
近代以
War
来
of resistance against
中
Japanese
国抗
aggression
击外敌入侵
is the
的
first
第一次完全胜利，
complete victory won by China in its
这一伟大
resistance
胜利
against foreign aggression in modern
彻底
times.
粉碎了日本军国主义
This great triumph
殖民奴役中国
crushed
的
the
图谋
plot of the Japanese militarists
洗刷了
to
近代以
colonize
来
and enslave China
中国
and
抗
put
击
an
外来
end to
侵略
China's national
屡战
humiliation
屡败的
of suffering
民族耻辱。
successive defeats at the hands
这
of
一伟
foreign
大胜利
aggressors in modern times.
重新确立了中国
This great
在世界
triumph
上的
re-established
大国
China as a major
使
country
中
in the
国人民
world
赢得了世界爱好和
and
平
won the
人民
Chinese
的
people
尊
respect
敬。
of all peace-loving people
这
around
一
the
伟大
world.
胜利
This great
开辟
triumph
了中华民族
opened up bright
伟大复
prospects
兴的
for the
光
great
明前景，
renewal of the Chinese nation
开启了古老中国
and set our
凤凰涅
ancient
槃
country
浴火重生
on a
的
new journey
新征
after
程。
gaining rebirth.
在那场战争中，
During the war,
中国人民以巨大民族牺牲，
with huge national sacrifice,
世界
the Chinese
反法西
people
战
held
争的
ground in the
东
main
方主
theater
战场
in the east of the world
为世
anti-fascist
界
war,
反法西战争胜利
thus making major
做出了重大贡献。
contribution to its victory.
中国人民抗日战争也得到了国际
In
社
their war
会
against Japanese
广泛
aggression,
支持。
the Chinese people received extensive
中国人民
support
将
from the
永远铭记
international community.
各国人民
The Chinese people will always
中国
remember
抗战
what the
胜利
people of other countries
做出的
did
贡
for
献。
the victory of their war of resistance.
女士们、先生们，
Ladies and
同志们，
gentlemen,
朋友们，
comrades and friends,
经历了战争的人们，更加懂
the
得
experience
和
of
平的
war
宝
makes
贵。
people value peace all the more.
我们纪念中国人民抗日战争
The aim of our commemoration of the 70th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War is to bear history in mind,
开创
honor
未
all
来
those who laid down their lives, cherish peace, and
那
open
场
up
战
the
争的战
future.
火，遍及
Ravaging through Asia,
亚洲、欧洲、
Europe,
非洲、
Africa,
大洋洲，
and Oceania,
军队和民
That
众
war
伤亡超过1亿人，
inflicted over 100 million military and civilian
中国
casualties.
伤亡人数超过3500万，
China suffered over 35 million
死亡人数
casualties,
超过2700
and the
万。
Soviet Union lost more than 27
绝
million
不让
lives.
历史悲剧重演，是我们对当年
The best way to honor the heroes who gave their lives
正义、
to
和
uphold
平而
freedom,
牺牲的英勇，
justice, and peace
对
and
惨
mourn the
遭屠
loss
杀的无辜亡灵的
of innocent
最好
lives
纪念。
brutally taken during the war is to make sure that this historical
战争是一
tragedy
面镜子，
will never repeat itself.
能够让人更好
War
地认
is
识
like a
和
mirror.
平的珍贵。
Looking at it helps us better appreciate the value of peace.
和平与发展
Today, peace and
已经成
development
为时代主
have
题，
become the prevailing
但
trend,
世界仍
but the world
不太平。
is still far from
战争的
tranquil.
达摩克利斯之剑依然悬在人类
War
头
is
上
the sword of
我们要
Damocles
以史为
that
鉴，
still hands over
坚
mankind.
定维护和平
We
的
must
决心。
learn the lessons of history and dedicate ourselves to
为
peace.
了和平，我们要
In the interest
牢
of
固树立
peace,
人类命运共同体意
we
识，
need to foster a keen sense of a global
偏见和
community
歧视、
of shared future.
仇恨和战争
Prejudice,
只会带来灾
discrimination,
难。
hatred,
和痛苦。
and war can only cause disaster and suffering.
平等相处，
While mutual respect,
和平发
equality,
展，
peaceful
共同
development,
繁荣，才
and
是
common prosperity
人间正道。
represent the right path to take.
世界各国应该共同维护
All
以
countries
联合国宪章宗旨
should
和
jointly
原则为核
uphold
心
the
的
international
国际
order and
秩
system
序
underpinned
和国际
by the purposes and principles of the UN Charter.
以合作共赢为核心的新型
Build
国
a
际
new
关
type
系，
of international
共
relations
同推进
featuring win-win
世界和平
cooperation
与发展
and
的
advance the noble
崇高
cause
事业。
of global peace and development.
为了和平，
In the interest
中
of
国将
peace,
始终坚持走
China
和
will
平发展
remain
道路。
committed to peaceful development.
中华民族 历来
We
爱好
Chinese
和
love
平
peace.
无论发展到哪一步，
No matter how
中国
much
都永
stronger
远不称
it may
霸，
become,
永远不搞扩张，永
China
远不会把
will
自
never
身
seek
曾经经历过的
hegemony
悲
or
惨遭遇
expansion. It will never
强加
inflict
给
its
其他
past
民
suffering
族。
on any other nation.
中国人民将坚持同世界各
The
国人民
Chinese people
友好相处，
are resolved to pursue
坚决
friendly
捍卫
relations with
中
all
国人
other
民
countries,
抗日战争
uphold the
和世界
outcomes of the Chinese
反法西
people's
战
war of
争
resistance
胜利
against
成果
Japanese aggression and the world
努力为人类
anti-fascist
做
war,
出新的更大
and
贡
make
献。
greater contribution to mankind.
中国人民解放军是人民子弟兵，
The People's Liberation Army of China is the People's Army.
要牢记
All of its
全心
officers,
全意
men and
为人
women,
们
must
服务
bear
的
in
根
mind
本
the
宗旨，
responsibility of serving the people
忠实履
wholeheartedly,
行保卫祖国
faithfully
安全
fulfill
和人民和平生活的
the sacred duty of
神圣
protecting the
职责。
nation's security and people's
忠
well-being,
实执行维护世
and
界
carry
和
out
平
the
的
noble mission of
神圣
upholding
使
world
命。
peace.
我宣布，
Here I announce
中国
that China
将裁减
will
军
cut
队
the
员
number
额
of its
30
troops
万。
by 300,000.
女士们、先生们、
Ladies and gentlemen,
同志们、朋友们，
comrades and friends,
米不有出，先克有
as an ancient Chinese saying goes, after making a good start, we should ensure that the cause achieves
需要
fruition.
一代又一代人
The great new renewal of the Chinese nation requires the dedicated efforts of one generation after
创
another.
造了具有5000多年历史的
Having
灿烂
created
文
a
明，
splendid civilization of over 5,000 years,
创造出
the Chinese nation
更加
will
灿烂
certainly
的明
usher in
天。
an even brighter future.
前进道路上，
Going
全国各族
forward,
人民要在中国共产党领导下，
under the
坚
leadership
持以马克思列宁主
of the
义
Communist Party of China,
毛泽东思
we
想
people of all ethnicities across the country should take Marxism,
三个代表
Leninism,
重要思想
Mao Zedong thought, Deng
科
Xiaoping
学发
theory,
展观
the important thought of the
指导
three represents, and the
沿着
scientific outlook on
中国特
development
色
as our
社会
guide
主义道
to
路
action.
按
We
照
should
四
follow
个
the
全
path
面
of socialism
战略布
with
局
Chinese characteristics,
弘扬伟
pursue the
大的爱国主义
four-pronged
精神，
comprehensive strategy,
弘扬伟
promote
大的抗战
patriotism
精神，
and the great spirit of
万
resisting
众一
aggression,
心，风雨无阻，
and
向着我们
forge
既定的
ahead
目标继续奋
as
勇
one
前
to
进。
reach our goals.
让我们共同铭记历史所启示的
Let us
伟
bear in
大真
mind
理，
the great truth of history.
正义必胜，
Justice will prevail.
和平必胜，
Peace will prevail.
人民必胜。
The people will prevail.
阅兵开始。
Now the inspection of the troops begins.
标兵就位。
The first thing we see as the parade begins is the pace setters getting into positions. These soldiers will serve as markers along the Chang'an Avenue. The marching troops will change their routines and their pace, their steps when passing. But the traditional military processions runs deep in China. The Asian History book, the commentary of Zuo Qiuming, written more than 2,000 years ago, record the importance of parades in the offering sacrifices to ancestors as well as honoring the military. Commemorating key events in history with parades is a common international practice. Well, China has held 14 parades since the founding of the People's Republic. Today is the first to commemorate the end of both China's war and the world's. It shows our respect to history, our determination to safeguard peace.
Altogether, there are 67 formations or representative teams to today's parade. Chinese President Xi Jinping is ready to inspect the army.
Mr. President, the troops stand ready for your inspection. This is the Chief Commander of the parade. Let's begin.
同志们好！同志们辛苦了！同志们好！同志们辛苦了！同志们好！同志们辛苦了！同志们好！同志们好！同志们辛苦了！同志们好！敬礼！同志们辛苦了！同志们好！同志们辛苦了！同志们好！
After inspecting the troops, now President Xi is returning to Tiananmen Rostrum. An old Chinese saying goes, trials and tribulations will regenerate a nation, and the preservation of past experiences will guide the future. Looking back at the war, victory could not be won without a spirit of national unity, nor without the defense put up by the Chinese Communist Party. The nationwide resistance was the effective weapon.
That period of history also attests to the necessity of a strong army for a strong nation. A powerful army and consolidated defense are the guarantees for a peaceful country and survival of its people.
That history also demonstrates the growth of a Chinese army committed to serving the people and loyal to the leadership of the CPC. The People's Army has made great contributions to national independence, liberation, and prosperity, while safeguarding national sovereignty, security, and development interests, as well as world peace.
Today, the PLA has developed into a modernized, high-technology-based army consisting of multiple forces. The CPC's goal is to build a loyal, adept, and commendable force befitting of the times.
Every generation of the Army shoulders the responsibility of a particular era. Today's Army is training a generation of qualified troops with tough spirit, combat capability, fortitude, and fine character.
One of the most enduring lessons of the war for China is the need to unswervingly pursue the path of peaceful development. The Army plays the role of safeguarding peace for the country and the world. In President Xi Jinping's words, the Chinese people have hearts that are bigger than the oceans or the sky, but we definitely cannot tolerate sand in our eyes. And that sand refers to covering up of atrocities, distortion of history, and attempts to detract from the value of the Chinese victory.
But the Chinese Army has stood the test of war. In this new chapter, it is developing itself into a more powerful force to protect the country in the new era.
Well, altogether, there are 67 formations or representative teams in today's parade. There are 11 foot phalanxes from the Chinese Army, 17 from foreign troops, 2 composed of veterans of the War of Resistance, 27 exhibiting advanced armament, as well as 10 air echelons.
Very soon the troops will begin to march. The war of resistance was won with the combined determination of the CPC and the people. China was the major east battlefield of the Second World War. The fight on this front locked in 94% of the Japanese land forces, impeding Japan from redirecting its aggression to the rest of the world. China's resistance also led to the demise of 1.5 million Japanese soldiers, which is more than 70% of the casualties Japan suffered in World War II. And China also positively propelled a worldwide anti-fascist united front and became one of the founding members of the United Nations.
China's military and civilian casualties reached 35 million. That alone accounted for 1/3 of the entire world's atrocity casualties in the Second World War. China's war of resistance supported the anti-fascist struggle in the European and Pacific theaters. It disrupted the grand plan of militaristic Japan to dominate the world, thwarted Japan's Northern March plot to invade the Soviet Union, and delayed its Southern March schedule for unleashing the Pacific War.
U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt once said that without China, or if China had been defeated, many more Japanese divisions would have been deployed to other areas, and they would have been able to occupy Australia and India immediately without any trouble, and then push to the Mideast.
Today, as you're watching from the live feed, some 41,000 representatives from all walks of life are taking part in the commemoration. Among them are veterans, international friends of China, public figures, and exemplary figures. More than 1/3 of participants are members from the public. No matter who they are, where they're from, everyone is sharing the glory of victory in the Chinese capital.
China wants to tell the world the purpose of the parade is to remember history and those martyrs who have given their lives, cherish peace, and create the future.
Today's parade is intended to commemorate history, cherish the memories of fallen revolutionary heroes, and uphold peace, usher in the future.
Now the parade begins.
Incoming now are the Air Flag Guards bearing the Chinese flag and the flag of the Chinese People's Liberation Army. Flying in the lead is Major General Tao Binglan. We are seeing 20 other helicopters in 2 fleets soaring in. They're forming the number 70 in flight. And now a flyover by 7 training jets whose trails represent a journey to a bright, colorful future.
Now in these vehicles are the veterans who fought with blood, sweat, and tears for peace. Riding alongside them are 45 soldiers from the Motorcycle Honor Guard unit. The Motorcycle Escort Fleet is an honor usually reserved for state guests. It was disbanded in 2003 because of disruptions to traffic, but resumed in 2014. Among the veterans are those who served in the 8th Route Army, New 4th Army, Northeast United Resistance Army, and South China People's Counter-Japanese Guerrilla Force, as well as the Kuomintang forces. The average age of these veterans is 90 years old. And behind them is a formation dedicated to the heroes who paid for China's victory with their lives. Following behind are the descendants of veterans. Their average age is 78 years old. President Xi Jinping awarded the veterans on September 2nd to pay their tribute to their contribution in the war.
This formation honors the people who contributed to the war effort from behind the lines. Members represent those who provided essential support to Chinese soldiers, sending daily necessities including food and clothes, as well as secretly relaying news to the soldiers.
67 formations, including 50 PLA formations and 17 formations or representative teams of foreign troops, are taking part in today's parade. Some 12,000 people from the Chinese side are involved. Formations will march past the central inspection area located in front of Tiananmen Rostrum. A military band and chorus of the Chinese People's Liberation Army will perform the parade march. 56 generals will participate in the event for the first time. They have been trained together with soldiers for 3 months. It's also the first time that representatives from the 8th Route Army, New 4th Army, Northeast United Resistance Army, and Southern China People's Counter-Japanese Guerrilla Force all join a military parade. 7 flags, their honors and designations will be flying at the front of their formations.
And now here comes the Honor Guards, composed of the PLA's 3 branches, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. In May this year, these soldiers attended Russia's own Victory Day parade, which marked the country's win in the Great Patriotic War, as Russia calls it. For the very first time, the presence of female Honor Guards in the formation, they made their debut last May at a welcoming ceremony for Turkmenistan's president.
Major General Zhang Haiqing and Zhao Jilu are leading the formation of the 5 heroes of Mount Langyashan. The 5 heroes are 5 soldiers of the 8th Route Army under the CPC. In order to cover the tracks of the main Chinese forces, they misdirected a Japanese force of 500 and lured them off the right trail to the main peak of Langyashan in North China's Hebei province. They put up a defiant fight. After their bullets ran out, they chose to leap off a cliff instead of surrendering.
This formation is led by Major General Wu Yanan and Wang Mi. The Battle of Pingxingguan broke out in September 1937, when Japanese troops engaged with the Chinese at the strategic pass in North China's Shanxi province. It was the first large-scale defeat the Chinese inflicted on the Japanese invaders.
Walking down the Chang'an Avenue now is the formation of the Bayonet Company of Heroes in the 100 Regiment campaign, led by Major Generals Deng Zhiping and Gao Wei. The company is known for the hand-to-hand battle it fought with Japanese soldiers. The 100 Regiment campaign was the largest and longest strategic offensive launched by the CPC forces.
Major Generals Lin Qiangyang and Hong Jiangqiang are leading the formation of the company of model fighters in the night raid Yanlingbao. The unit represents the forces which attacked the Yanlingbao airport used by the Japanese in North China's Shanxi province on the night of October the 19th of 1937. The 1-hour battle inflicted damage on 24 enemy aircraft, dealing a heavy blow to Japan's air transport capabilities.
Marching forward now is the formation of the Company of Heroes of the Yanmenguan ambush, led by Major Generals Wang Xiubin and Zhou Xigen. The company launched 2 ambushes at Yanmenguan, a pass in North China's Shanxi province, and cut off the Japanese supply line. During the 8-year war, the 8th Route Army under the CPC brought down over 1.25 million in the Japanese army.
Major General Xia Junyou and Major General Liu Weixing are leading this formation in the battle in Liu Laozhuang village in the eastern province of Jiangsu. The company from the new 4th Army sniped at and killed over 1,000 Japanese soldiers. All 82 soldiers of the company also gave their lives. The new 4th Army was a main force in the war of resistance, taking down some 300,000 Japanese troops.
Major Generals Tian Fuping and Zhou Jianguo are leading this formation. In 1945, this company of new 4th Army launched attacks on Japanese troops in the southern part of Suxian County in East China. Only 16 of the 106 soldiers of the company survived the battle.
Here is the formation of the heroic Northeast United Resistance Army. Major General Wang Chengwei and Major General Wang Yinfang are leading the formation. The Northeast United Resistance Army was the earliest resistance force formed under the CPC. Resistance in the Northeast locked in a large amount of Japanese forces, keeping them from being redirected to the wider stage of the Second World War.
Now leading this formation are Major Generals Zhu Yunxuan and Chen Xiangwen. The guerrilla column in South China was a major force fighting the Japanese from behind the enemy lines in Guangdong and Hainan. They conducted many raids, dealing blows to the Japanese.
Leading the formation are Major General Xu Ping and Gong Chunyan. The People's Armed Police grew out of troops which also fought in the War of Resistance and are known for a number of valiant battles. Next, 17 formations and representative teams of foreign troops will march past Tiananmen Rostrum. Never before has China invited foreign troops to join in the parade.
The Afghan representative team, led by Lieutenant Colonel Abdul Rahim from the Guard of Honor.
Passing through now is the formation of Belarus. Leading the formation is Colonel Ratsu Anatoly, a garrison commander.
Now the Cambodian soldiers. Colonel In Hiep, Vice Captain of the Honor Guard, leads the team.
Now comes the Cuban Revolutionary Armed Forces. They're led by Lieutenant Colonel Jose Luis Peraza, captain of the Honor Guard.
Marching forward now is Egyptian formation. Colonel Ahmad Abdelaziz Mohammed Ali Al Sayad leads the formation of Egyptian armed forces.
The team of the Republic of Fiji military forces is led by Master Sergeant Wasaki Wesia Balay Ratu from the Strategic Command.
Now the formation of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Leading the formation is Colonel Aldriorov Nurlan. He's Deputy Director of the Training Department of the General Staff Headquarters.
And right now is the formation from Kyrgyzstan led by Colonel Isakov Daniel.
This is the team of the Lao People's Army. It is led by Captain Khan Villafon.
Following behind is the formation from the Mexican Armed Forces. Lieutenant Colonel Jose Carlos Luna Loaiza leads the formation.
This is the Mongolian formation. Lieutenant Colonel Badbagel Karshadin is leading the troop.
The Pakistan Armed Forces formation is led by Lieutenant Colonel Muhammad Taib.
Marching forward now is the Serbian Armed Forces. Major Marko Majanovic is leading this formation.
Colonel Maksumov Ilhom is leading the formation from Tajikistan.
This is the representative team of Vanuatu. Lieutenant Boma Avia from the Mobile Force is leading this formation.
Here comes the formation from Venezuela, led by Miguel Angel Hernandez Lugo. He's a military academy cadet.
This is the Russian formation. It is led by senior captain Bobrov Dmitry Alexandrovich. There are 85 soldiers from the country's 154th Privatchensky Independent Regiment, which serves as the official honor guard regiment of the Russian Armed Forces. The honor guards of this regiment also took part in Russia's Victory Day parade in May and were the first to march into Moscow's Red Square.
The representatives of veterans of the Red Army of the Soviet Union, their descendants also attending the commemoration. 70 years ago, many foreign soldiers and international friends fought along with China, including U.S. Flying Tigers Commander Claire Chennault, Canadian Dr. Norman Bethune, and Indian Dr. Dwighanath Kotnis.
As China's military continues to march through the Chang'an Avenue, we'll be expecting to see the equipment formations.
Well, the next formations are a display of the PLA's advances in equipment and weaponry. Everything on display is China-made and in active service. 84% are being shown to the public for the very first time. Lieutenant generals are leading the formations: Bai Jianjun, Tian Zhongzhong, Chen Dong, Wu Guohua, and Pan Changjie.
Coming into view now is the Ground Assault Unit, made up of 9 formations.
First up, the tanks. Tanks formation led by Major General Zhou Yiming. This 99A tank has advanced firepower, mobility, and defense capability.
Next up, Major General Li Xiaoyan is leading this formation, the Marine Corps Amphibious Assault Vehicle formation. The O-5A Amphibious Assault Vehicle is one main battle armament in the Navy's landing operations.
Leading the next formation is Major General Li Ming. The O-4A infantry fighting vehicles capable of mobile assault and defense on complex terrains.
Following up now is the airborne fighting vehicle formation, led by Major General Jing Tao. The airborne fighting vehicle can be rapidly mobilized and counter ground attacks from the air. It is also capable of long-distance, non-stop action and deep strikes.
But this is the formation of anti-tank missiles. Major General Li Ming is leading the formation. We're now seeing is the HJ-10 missile system. It can accurately strike ground targets and low-speed and low-altitude flying targets.
Up next is the formation of tracked self-propelled artilleries led by Major General Liu Lin. And what we're seeing is the Type 05A-155 self-propelled howitzer. It plays an important suppressive role in combat.
Now comes the formation of wheeled armored assault vehicles led by Major General Liu Fafeng. The Type 11 amphibious assault vehicle are mainly used for rapid deployment, capture of key areas, and rapid ground assault.
Marching forward now is the formation of high-mobility assault vehicles. It is led by Major General Tang Jianming. Now, this defensive assault vehicle is the Chinese Army's new generation carrier of command, small arms, and mobile battle.
This is the formation of the Armed Police anti-terrorism assault vehicles led by Major General Meng Ming. Armed police are the assault forces in fighting terrorism. They have an accomplished track record in handling unforeseen and sudden events and fighting violent crimes.
And coming next is the air defense and anti-missile module that consists of 3 formations.
And here's the formation of anti-aircraft artillery led by Major General Sun Yongbo. The 35mm self-propelled anti-aircraft gun has many impressive characteristics, including rapid firing speed, high on-target accuracy, and strong anti-interference ability.
Major General Liu Mingbao is leading the first formation of surface-to-air missile. The HQ-9 is capable of countering saturation attacks, operating in a complex electromagnetic environment, and intercepting multiple airstrike weapons.
We have the second formation of surface-to-air missiles. It is led by Major General Pan Guohai. The HQ-12 surface-to-air missile is China's mid-to-high altitude air defense weapon. The HQ-6A is China's new generation terminal defense armament.
And coming right up is the shipborne attack module, consisting of 3 formations.
Major General Huang Xinjian is leading the formation of ship-to-air missiles. The shipborne anti-aircraft missiles are capable of covering a large sea, a large area, countering multiple attacks, and strong in anti-interference.
Following behind is the formation of anti-ship missiles led by Major General Liu Gengqun. They are the key players in maritime combat and are an effective means for defending sovereignty, maritime rights and interests, and are the features of a modern maritime defense system.
This is the formation of shore-to-ship missiles led by Major General Zhou Xuming. The shore-to-ship missiles have excellent mobility, strong penetration, long attacking range, and are extremely powerful.
There are 6 formations for the Strategic Strike Module, including the 2nd Artillery Force.
This is the formation of conventional missiles DF-15B and DF-16. Formation is led by Major General Shen Guoqiang. They are the weapon of choice for conducting short-range precision strikes.
Here comes the 2nd formation of conventional missiles, led by Major General Li Jun. The DF-21D is a land-based anti-ship ballistic missile. It serves as one of China's important weapons in asymmetric warfare.
Now the third formation of conventional missiles, led by Major General Li Yuchao. The CJ-10 cruise missile is capable of stealth penetration, compound guidance, consecutive attacks, and high precision. It can inflict powerful damage. It is one of China's main battle armaments.
Here comes the formation of missiles for both nuclear and conventional use. It's led by Major General Xue Jinfeng. The DF-26 can conduct medium to long-range, precise attacks on key ground targets and large to medium naval ships. It is China's new weapon in its strategic deterrence systems.
And this is the first formation of nuclear missiles. It is led by Major General Wang Dingfang. What we are seeing now is DF-31A, a solid-propelled intercontinental ballistic missile. The DF-31A, it is important strategic armament in maintaining national security and world peace.
And here comes the second formation of nuclear missiles, led by Major General Zhang Mingguo. The DF-5B is an intercontinental ballistic missile. It is a shield in the defense of national sovereignty and national dignity.
But there are three formations for the information support module.
Now is the early warning radar formation led by Major General Hou Haitao. The equipment has high mobility and performance. It can operate independently and is an important safeguard of the nation's air security.
And here comes the unmanned aerial vehicle formation led by Major General Li Tiantian. The UAV unit provides new means for the military to handle diversified tasks. It is multifunctional, covering reconnaissance, guides, strikes, strategies, campaigns, and tactics.
Marching forward now is the formation of commanding information system equipment, led by Major General An Xue. China has established a unified command system that engages the three armed forces and integrates different networks and elements.
There are three formations for logistics and equipment support.
Here comes the Logistics Support Formation led by Major General Li Gong. China is speeding up the construction of a new generation logistics support system and upgrading its capability with the aim of securing all-round modern logistics.
Now it's the formation of equipment support led by Major General Wang Qidong. The equipment on display provides all-season, all-region support. China is speeding up the upgrade of its armament and enhancing its equipment support capability.
This formation is the Bethune Medical College, led by Major General Tian O. It's made up of students from the school, and the school is named after Canadian Dr. Norman Bethune, who came to China as a frontline surgeon for the 8th Route Army during the War of Resistance. The Chinese military says it's carrying on the spirit of Bethune in its expansion of mobile medical services.
Let's look up in the sky. Air echelons are the last formations. Flying overhead now is the echelon of the lead aircraft. There's KJ-2000 early warning aircraft and 8 J-10 escort fighters. Lieutenant General Zheng Qunliang is the commander. The bi-aerobatic team is flying the J-10 fighters.
Now is the echelon of airborne warning and control system aircraft. It consists of 1 KJ-500 early warning aircraft, 2 Y-8 transport aircraft, 4 J-10 and 4 J-11 fighters.
Now the echelon of maritime patrol aircraft. It consists of 3 special models of Y-8 aircraft and 10 JH-7A fighters. They are important in the Chinese Navy's aerial reconnaissance, early warning, command and control.
right overhead now is the echelon of H-6K bombers forming 3 flanks. The H-6K can carry cruise missiles and air-to-surface missiles. It's capable of long-distance raids, wide-ranging patrol, and strikes reaching outside defense zones.
Following is the echelon of tankers, 2 HY-6 area refueling tankers and 4 J-10 fighters. Mastering area refueling is a huge boost to the fleet's long-distance mobility and battle sustainability.
The first echelon of fighters is now flying towards Tiananmen Square. There are 12 J-11B fighters forming 3 sub-echelons. It has a long loiter time and long combat radius. It's also capable of beyond visual range air combat and close-range combat.
Next is the second echelon of fighters. 15 J-10As are forming a 3-jet flying wedge, 5-jet flying wedge, and 7-jet flying wedge. Major General Chang Ding-chiu is flying the lead aircraft. The J-10A fighter jet is of great importance in medium-long distance fighting and in seizing air domination.
The echelon of carrier-based aircraft consists of 5 J-15 fighters. The J-15 fighter has successfully conducted ski jump, takeoff, and arresting gear landing on an aircraft carrier. It marks the breakthrough of China's fixed-wing aircraft turning from land-based to carrier-based. It lays a solid foundation for building up Chinese aircraft carriers' fighting capability.
The last echelon flying towards Tiananmen, flying over Tiananmen Square, is that of the helicopters. 70 helicopters and 7 flying wedges in one rank. The Air Force is one of the main powers in all-around assault. It is a key player in modern warfare and outward military operations as well. The 70,000 doves of peace represent the Chinese people's wish for world peace. Victory Day reminds us all of the pain of war and how precious peace is.
President Xi Jinping laid out the two 100-year goals. One is building a moderately prosperous society in all respects by 2021, when the CPC will celebrate its 100th anniversary. And the other is building an affluent, strong, civilized, and harmonious socialist modern country by 2049, the 100th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. And China is now moving closer than ever towards this vision.
Victory Day reminds us of the importance of remembering the past, remembering the experiences that shape our present day. The victory belongs to the Chinese. It also belongs to all the peace-loving nations and people.
The commemoration of the 70th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War now concludes.
You've been watching the 70th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. Just now, the PLA had a military parade on Tiananmen Square. Chinese President Xi Jinping, together with other leaders, as well as leaders from other countries attending the Beijing parade, reviewed the troops. It is attended by more than 40,000 people from all over the country, especially those veterans, their families, and dignitaries from the rest of the international community. And President Xi also delivered an address ahead of the military parade, expressing China's wish to maintain peace, to remember those war heroes, and look forward to a future that will be blessed with peace-loving people.
This is the first time China held a military parade on September 3rd, the day designated to mark the end of the Second World War, of China's war against Japanese aggression.